They laughed at you. They called you crazy, a dreamer, an outcast. They whispered behind your back, ridiculed your ambitions, and doubted your every move. They smirked when you shared your dreams, shaking their heads as if your goals were nothing more than foolish fantasies. They watched you struggle, secretly enjoying your hardships, thinking you would never rise above your circumstances. To them, you were just another lost soul chasing an impossible dream, someone destined to fail, someone who would never be more than what they assumed you to be. But today, oh today, their laughter has turned into stunned silence. The same people who mocked you now watch in awe. Their eyes, once filled with judgment, are now wide with disbelief. They don't understand how the same person they ridiculed has risen so high, how the one they dismissed is now the one they admire. Their whispers have turned into gasps, their doubt into shock. Because now, the person they counted out has become the one they can't ignore. You see, the journey of the chosen ones is never easy. From the beginning, you felt different, like you didn't belong. It wasn't just in your mind. You actually were different. While others followed the crowd, you questioned everything. While they settled for mediocrity, you craved something greater. But instead of recognizing your uniqueness, they resented it. Your mind operated on a different level. Your energy was rare, and that intimidated them. They mistook your silence for weakness, your solitude for loneliness, your struggles for failure. But what they failed to realize is that every hardship, every tear, every rejection was shaping you into the unstoppable force you've become today. They thought they had you figured out, but they never understood the fire burning inside you. They saw the surface, but they never looked deeper. They saw the struggle, but they never saw the strength. They saw the pain, but they never saw the purpose behind it. There were nights when you cried yourself to sleep, wondering if you'd ever make it, if you'd ever prove them wrong. You replayed their cruel words in your mind, questioning your worth, doubting your path. You watched as they walked away, as they dismissed you like you were nothing. You felt the weight of being misunderstood, the sting of being unappreciated. The world seemed to turn its back on you, and at times you wondered if you should give up. But deep down, something in you refused to break. Something told you to keep pushing, to keep going even when the odds were against you. And that's exactly what you did. While they wasted time gossiping, you were grinding. While they laughed at your failures, you were learning from them. While they doubted you, you were sharpening your skills, leveling up, preparing for your breakthrough. And now, that breakthrough is here. The tables have turned. The same people who doubted you now look at you with admiration. Some with envy, others with regret. They want to act like they always believed in you, like they knew you had it in you all along. But you remember their words, their actions, their disbelief. You remember how they laughed when you struggled, how they distanced themselves when you had nothing. And now they want to be part of your success story. They want to say they knew you before you made it. But you know the truth. There's something powerful about being underestimated. It gives you the fuel to rise higher than even you imagined. It forces you to dig deep, to become the strongest version of yourself. And now, here you are, standing in your power, shining so brightly that even those who doubted you can't ignore it. They try to act like they're happy for you, but deep inside, they're in shock. Because they never expected this. They never expected you to be the one who made it. But you did. And you're just getting started. And now you walk into rooms and the energy shifts. The same people who look down on you suddenly want to shake your hand. The same ones who called you a failure now want your advice. The same ones who spread lies about you now wish they were on your team. You see it in their eyes, the regret, the disbelief, the silent admiration. They wonder how you did it, how you survived, how you thrived despite everything they threw at you. But they will never understand what it took. They weren't there in the dark nights when you questioned yourself. They weren't there when you had to pick yourself up after every setback. They weren't there when you fought battles no one knew about. And now they want to celebrate your victories as if they were part of your journey. But the truth is, they never believed in you. They never supported you. They only see the end result, but they will never understand the sacrifices, the discipline, the pain, and the perseverance that brought you here. And that's why they're in shock. Because they thought you would break. They thought you would give up. They thought you would always be beneath them. But now they're forced to watch as you rise higher and higher, beyond their reach, beyond their understanding. And the best part, you did it without them. You did it against all odds. And now they have no choice but to respect what they once mocked. This is the journey of the chosen ones, the journey of those who were once doubted, rejected, and ridiculed, only to rise above it all. They once laughed, but now they are silent. They once mocked, but now they watch in awe. And this is just the beginning, because the rise of the chosen ones has only just begun. There was a time when they didn't just doubt you, they dismissed you entirely. You were invisible to them, a nobody, someone whose dreams were nothing more than a joke. They saw you struggling and assumed that struggle was your final destination. They thought you would always be stuck, always beneath them, always chasing after something you would never achieve. And they made sure you knew it. Every time you tried to rise, they pulled you down with their words, their laughter, their disbelief. They told you to be realistic, to settle for less, to stop dreaming so big. They wanted you to shrink, to play small, to accept the limitations they placed on you. But what they didn't know was that their doubt was only making you stronger. Every insult, every rejection, every attempt to break you was fueling something deep inside, something they couldn't see, something they would never understand. Because while they were busy laughing at you, underestimating you, casting you aside, you were working. You were grinding in silence, pushing through the pain, transforming yourself into something they never saw coming. You weren't just surviving, you were evolving. While they wasted time gossiping and tearing others down, you were studying, learning, growing. You were turning your wounds into wisdom, your failures into fuel. Every setback they laughed at was actually setting you up for something greater. And while they thought they had won, while they believed they had buried you in doubt and failure, what they didn't realize was that they weren't burying you at all. They were planting you. And now, after all those years of hardship, after all those moments of suffering in silence, you have bloomed into something they never imagined. Now they stare at you in shock. They don't recognize you anymore. You are no longer that lost, struggling person they once knew. You are no longer the one they could laugh at, the one they could pity, the one they could easily dismiss. You have become something greater, something undeniable. And the realization hits them hard, because they know they played no part in your rise. They weren't the ones who helped you. They weren't the ones who believed in you. They weren't the ones who stood by your side when things got tough. And now that you've made it, now that you've stepped into your power, they want to act as if they always knew you would succeed. But you remember everything. You remember the moments they ignored you, the times they excluded you, the words they used to belittle you. You remember how they tried to make you feel like you were nothing. But now, the power has shifted. They once controlled the narrative, but now you do. They once decided whether you were worthy, but now their opinions mean nothing. You have risen so far beyond their expectations that they can't even comprehend how you did it. They can't understand how the same person they doubted has become someone they now admire, someone they now envy. They try to hide their shock, try to act like they always believed in you, but deep down, they know the truth. And so do you. They see you standing tall, confident, unstoppable, and they are forced to face their own failure. Because while they stayed stagnant, you kept moving. While they settled for mediocrity, you reached for greatness. And now they can only watch from a distance, realizing that they were wrong about you all along. And it's funny, because now they want to be around you. The same people who laughed at you now want to be associated with you. They want to be in your circle, to claim they were always part of your journey. They want to benefit from your success, as if they had anything to do with it. But they don't deserve a seat at your table, because when you were struggling, they didn't offer a helping hand. When you needed support, they turned away. They only want to be here now because you made it. Because now, you are someone they can no longer ignore. But you don't need their approval anymore. You don't need their validation. You have proven to yourself and to the world that you were always meant for more. And the best part? You did it without them. You did it in spite of them. And that is what leaves them in shock. They never saw this coming. They thought you would always be beneath them, that they would always have the upper hand. But now the tables have turned and they don't know how to handle it. They see you thriving, excelling, breaking barriers, and it terrifies them. Because if you could rise despite everything they did to hold you back, what else are you capable of? How much higher will you go? That's the question that haunts them now. Because they realize, too late, that they underestimated the wrong person. And now, all they can do is watch as you continue to rise, leaving them behind, lost in the shock of your brilliance. And now, here you stand, undeniable, unstoppable, unshaken. The same ones who once mocked you, who doubted you, who whispered behind your back, now have no words at all. Their silence is louder than their past ridicule, because now they don't know what to say. They never expected this. They never thought you would be the one to rise. But here you are, shining so brightly that they can't ignore you anymore. And it burns them inside because they realize the truth. They were wrong about you all along. They look at you now and wonder how it happened. They wonder how the same person they ridiculed is now the one they admire, the one they envy. They thought they had you figured out, but they never saw the depth of your strength, the resilience in your soul. They never saw the battles you fought in silence, the nights you spent pushing through the pain, the sacrifices you made when no one was watching. And now they are left stunned, trying to piece together how you went from being the one they dismissed to the one they now wish they had supported. But it's too late. You've outgrown them. You've outgrown their doubt, their negativity, their limited mindset. You no longer seek their approval, and you no longer crave their acceptance. Because now you walk in your power, knowing that everything they tried to use against you only made you stronger. Their words, they fueled you. Their rejection, it motivated you. Their laughter, it became the fire that pushed you beyond their reach. And now they watch as you soar, knowing they can never catch up. The beauty of it all is that you never needed them. You never needed their validation, their support, or their belief in you. You proved them wrong, not to spite them, but because you were always meant for greatness. And now they are forced to watch as you continue to rise, powerless to stop the inevitable. Because this is just the beginning. The brilliance they once mocked is now the brilliance they can't escape. And the best part? You did it all without them.